Good thing they got explosive barrels on this level.
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, tasty morsels. It's Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm about to start episode 7 of the first season of Halo. After last week thinking that it was the finale, and it turned out I was completely wrong. This episode is called Inheritance, and I see Kwan in the thumbnail, but I'm not going to let that dissuade me.
Very magnanimous of him.
I do think Kwan is the weakest storyline so far, but we have apparently 3 episodes left, including this one. That is enough time, especially if this episode is basically going to mainly be devoted to Kwan, to give that character purpose and make her interesting, you know? So I'm still holding out hope that they'll do that, you know? That it's just been maybe difficult for the writers to figure out how to kind of keep her running as a thread through the story, but that they do actually have good plans for her. Personally, had I written it, I probably would have just dropped Kwan from the story completely until we were ready to get to the part where she really mattered, you know, just which would have been fine because you consider how she came into the story as someone who gets rescued and evacuated by Chief and then, you know, helps to sort of spark this catalyst of him rediscovering his humanity. That kind of character is fine to disappear for a while, and we would not have felt her absence, you know what I mean? Because it would have felt very contained, that part of her story, and then you bring her back later when you have something more to really tell us about her, you know? But I guess they just wanted to keep the thread running, possibly because they thought the audience would forget about her. But I don't really find that that's the case with that type of character. Usually the audience remembers them just fine, especially when you just run a little previously on kind of thing just to quickly remind people it's only been a season, so it's not like the person comes back 6 seasons later, you know, then it's like, wait, who was that again? But hey, you know, we'll see what they do. Yeah, so I'm curious to see where we're going with this. Like I said, this episode is entitled Inheritance. I think it's one of those titles that's got double meaning. We're going to be talking about Kwan's inheritance, and we're going to be talking about what it means to be a blessed one.
No.
We may hear the word reclaimer in the show for the first time in this episode, I imagine.
Also wrong.
But I think that's what we're going to be focusing on, is those 2 meanings of the word inheritance.
You could not be more wrong.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of Halo. This previously on is exactly what I mean. This is all they need to do to reintroduce Kwan.
You should not have returned.
Vinci allowed us to collect our debt, but the revolution is over.
That's my boy.
So what did you do?
What did I do? Oh, what could I do? I put him on the day shift.
I don't get it.
I'm guessing this is before Kwan decided to become a more rebellious teenager.
My apologies to the chef.
Judging by her
This one
hairstyle.
wandering around like a lost puppy.
Aren't you handsome?
Sometimes I wonder what it's going to cost us.
Uh-oh. Someone trying to yenta everything already.
I'm Ruben.
Ruben from Castra. I heard. 이따가 저녁 먹고 쟤 데리고 옆에 산책이라도 갔다 와.
Even if we win the war against the UNSC and you don't die, you'll still be out there pumping fuel like the rest of us.
I'm fighting for free magical.
So was my mother.
That's enough.
I'll appreciate the fact
You're
that
gonna
she's
feed your
considering what the
soldiers,
heck it even
Father?
means to be free.
At least don't feed them lies.
Because honestly, for the average person, nothing changes when a regime changes most of the time. It's really just the people in different levels of the power structure who see major changes from regime change. So like, for instance, with the US Revolution,
Does that mean you were on that tangent?
the merchant classes who were very high up but not in charge saw their positions increase as a result of the revolution. So it could be said that their motive might not necessarily have been freedom for the masses, instead more like increased power for themselves. That scene, by the way, did help to make Kwan a little more interesting. This feels very Mad Max Fury Road right now. Kwan, don't you need some sort of protection against breathing that in? So I wonder how far they're going to let us go in this episode before they reveal that she didn't kill Soren.
Who's there?
Because, I mean, we know she didn't kill Soren.
What an absolutely incredible story.
Man, his wife is so fashionable.
Yes.
That outfit is amazing.
Here's to me. I take out two UNSC broadswords with one shot. The old 7-10 split. But the squad leader's still on my tail, so I'm bothering me.
He's very good at schmoozing.
Goddamn Kwan.
This guy really doesn't like politicking.
Comes flying past me. Right out the front window, I kid you not. I saw the love of my life. I saw my boy, a beautiful boy.
Aww.
I saw everything crystal clear. It was beautiful.
So beautiful.
Oh.
Something bad's about to happen.
Today, girl.
I run my business the way I see fit.
So, we should go hungry.
You appear to be eating pretty well.
Read the room, buddy. You don't seem to have a lot of support here.
Oh, yeah? And what are they saying?
Come on, Anarchy.
Like,
Okay, Lady Macbeth.
maybe Soren's lost a step.
Is that right? You tell me. Have I lost a step?
Yeah, man.
Rule number 1 in trying to rise up against someone. Don't start a fight if you're not actually ready to throw down. Or maybe I should say don't talk shit if you're not ready to throw down.
Let's party.
I will say though, Soren, I don't think is paying enough attention to everything going on around him.
Leave it!
Kwan Ha.
Alright, now we're feeling even more like Mad Max Fury Road. Your father's essentially the king of Madrigal.
Hey!
And I'm pretty sure most people know who you are. Plus, there's a bounty for you that's pretty huge. And I'm pretty sure that even these people know about it. An entire village of women?
You're the women my father came out here to see.
Wise
I
women.
am Desiderata.
My father's
Game of
dead
Thrones
now.
fans know what I'm talking about.
I risked everything looking for you.
You're not ready.
I took on a man twice my size and won. I'll fight you all if I have to.
And you will lose. You love to pick
Rage
losing fights, Kwan.
Blinds you to the truth.
Great furnace flame. From those flames the light. Blood of darkness. Visible. Better to reign in hell.
Cool.
Touche. We come to her hard this time. Yes, sir. She will find no safe haven.
Well, shouldn't there be more than just you then? You know, it's kind of funny. Folks were complaining about the fact that they're driving around like modern SUVs, right?
I'm away on a tangent.
And I get that to an extent, but here's the thing. Humanity, once it discovers a technology that works pretty well, we don't just randomly change everything about that technology. I can guarantee you a few hundred years from now, we will still be driving around something that very closely resembles a modern car. All right? That's not going anywhere.
What the hell?
You know, these people riding around on bikes piss me off, man. It's like just completely inconsiderate. So now, if Soren is smart, he's going to find a way to get rid of this guy
Just
in
in time.
an accident. Because I don't think he can really afford to have him agitating. But he also can't afford to be seen taking him out publicly, because then it will lend credence to the man's objections. You know what I mean? Make it seem like he actually had a point.
My guy says they only got one security officer on board.
Where are they all?
That's the best part. Military-grade slip-space engine drivers.
And they only have
Imagine
one
if we got
guard?
our hands on
No.
one of those.
This is a trap.
Nobody could outrun us.
You don't use a single guard to protect something as important as a slip space, as a huge thing of slip space drives, plural.
Life was a struggle for the first pioneers. Your forefather's forefather was one of them.
Wait, what
One
changed?
night he
Why are
left his
you
tribe in search of
going
water.
to tell her stuff now when you
He
wouldn't
walked
before?
deep into the desert and dug a well. At the well, he said he met a being, a visitor from another time, perhaps from another existence. It explained to him his true purpose,
We're getting
his
into Forerunner?
responsibility, which has been handed on to future generations, and now to you.
It sounds like we're talking about Gios's.
You say you're ready. Let's find out.
I'm not afraid.
Now we're channeling Dune. The sleeper must awaken. Taking that water of life.
What did you do to me?
Give the girl some space.
What was in that drink?
Come on, form a circle. Give this girl some room.
These are questions you ask before you drink the drink, Kwan?
Fair fight.
Fight! This is a mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fight.
It's a fight you can only win in a dream. Yeah, that's about how well that would go. If it were real life.
Again.
Well, I am curious about what exactly is going on. Like, what are they trying to accomplish here? Is it just to teach her the futility of trying to fight hopeless battles? This is a really clever way of demonstrating just how badly a normal human would fare against a Spartan. Yeah, this is about teaching her about futility. He represents the UNSC and this battle against the authorities that hold them down and all that stuff.
What do you want from me?
But she's gonna have to move past her desire for revenge against it. Accept the
What do you want?
fact that the future involves them. They're gonna have to cooperate. Yep. Let go of your anger. Now he's out of his armor. Yeah, it's interesting reading the symbolism of the dream. Which one are you? Hello, monitor.
다시 만나게 될 거야.
Who are you?
나를
I'm guessing that's the voice of the monitor.
텐데.
Yeah, okay, so I see what they're doing here. They're incorporating the Gios's in a very interesting way. I'm wondering if she's supposed to be or their family line is a remix of a specific person with a Gios from the lore. Without spoiling too much, let's just say that it's about purpose.
결국엔
The purpose that's handed down from a very long time ago.
포탈의 비밀은 여기가 안전해지기 전까지는 절대로 밝혀지지 않을 거야. 그래서 우리가 이 마드리가를 꼭 지켜야만 한다.
So Madrigal is a shield world then, I think. I didn't go ahead and look it up because I didn't want to spoil myself by reading stuff that I didn't already remember from the lore.
난 아빠처럼 못해.
넌 이미 이 먼 곳까지 너 혼자만의 힘으로 왔지 않니?
Not quite all on her own.
이제 나를 대신해 네가 이곳을 지켜야 한다.
나 혼자서는 아무것도 할 수 없어.
Yep. Gios.
당신도 계속 나를 쫓아오고.
Go back to where it all began.
Earth? That was actually a pretty clever way to bring the, well, at least some of the Gios's into it. It's not the only Gios, the protector thing. Trying to remember, who was that? That was, I can't remember. But suffice to say, this is actually an appropriate remix of that particular idea from the lore.
Look at her ass. Get over it. Come on, little more. Help me!
Croak. Why don't you help the fella out?
Croak.
I'm sorry.
Lady Macbeth, you're gonna abandon your man?
Thought you could fill my shoes.
Was that really necessary? He could lose his...
No, that was...
Good. I'll teach him to think before every step he takes. Fear is a hell of a motivator. Trust me.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's not always the best motivator. It can motivate people to turn against you,
What's
too.
that girl? Venture's goons have probably already found her and carved her up.
Kwan is alive.
How do you know?
Because Venture just tripled the bounty.
Nice touch having the decomposing
So much death.
Covenant corpses all over the place.
And in the end, it wasn't even the UNSC that did Jin in. Where is the girl?
Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
I was wondering, I was just asking myself, doesn't this place have a satellite
You
grid?
must get my perishables stored.
Yes, of course. Fetch the carpet.
Bear always does do a good job of playing these kinds of villains. Just twirling that mustache. Which is funny because I'm pretty sure the first character I ever saw him play was a good guy. But I think it's the only good guy I've ever seen him play. And I'm pretty sure that was on Torchwood years ago. I guess once you find your niche in acting, you pretty much just have to go with it. Alright, so when are we going to find the clue?
제가 뭘 지켜야 하는 겁니까? 도대체 포탈이 뭡니까?
Ah, Kwan, as usual, no plan.
I'm doing just fine on my own, thanks.
You're really not, though.
Start killing people.
You'll die.
Not a chance.
We'll both die.
You got a better idea? Because they're coming in fast.
You guys have no
Then come.
secret evacuation
What now?
routes?
All the hydrogen gas runs through here. Fill up the pipe and then shoot it. Bam.
Just gonna blow it up.
The whole place goes up in flames.
Right. As long as I still get to kill some people.
No harm will come to you.
I mean, it's a bad plan, but it's probably the only one they've got. So,
I loved your father, Kwan.
Madrigal does not belong to you. It does not belong to the UNSC. It belongs to the people of Madrigal.
with you
I
as
don't
their
want to fight
queen.
you, but I will never, never surrender. Also, Vincent, my dad hated you.
Madrigal must be a cold desert. Because everybody really always looks overdressed for this planet.
What do you mean, uh-oh?
Well, hurry up and get the getting.
Hey, see you at the vault? Save a bullet for the sky pipe.
I mean, you're a Spartan. You can carry that and do your other shit too. Good thing they got explosive barrels on this level. Fun fact, whenever I play a first-person shooter, I always scan the environment for exploding barrels and stuff. Use the environment to kill your enemies. The weapon, what the hell, dude? I'm ensign fodder. Cannon fodder. You know, Soren should have kept his helmet. I mean, it's great to have armor all over the place, but like, the old beam is the most important part. It's a good thing nobody was looking this way. Really? Well, I'm actually glad to see him get injured, because it's always unbelievable to me when someone faces off against odds like this and they don't even take a single bullet. He should have brought some people with him, though. I mean, it wouldn't have been a lie to tell them that there would be some money in them for it, or in it for them. That brain's weird today. And he'd have much better odds with a group. Hey, is that a plasma grenade? Time for a little sticky boy. Yeah, boy, you're screwed. Sticky boy. Those were my favorites. Did he get you in the arm? Oh shit, he got him in the neck. I think it's a graze though. There you go.
Show yourself. Let us end this contretemps with some degree of dignity.
Oh wow, I didn't realize he had lost his weapon. The kick on that fucker is going to rip your arm off.
Proud aspirer. Failed Spartan, mediocre pirate, and now martyr for the delusion of an orphaned young girl.
That was actually reasonably well done, Kwan. Jesus Christ, they blow their entire demo budget on this one up. Pan over to the oh, I thought it was going to be a pan over to the well containing the monitor. Is it raining deuterium right now? Man, I don't think that'll hurt you. I just think it's funny. I mean, deuterium's just heavy water, right?
I could use you for whatever comes next.
I'm sure you could. I have my own thing going, and I'm not one for joining lost causes.
But you did, though.
I don't believe that. We'll see each other again.
God, I hope not.
You actually managed to keep people from stealing your ship this time, or boarding it, or anything? Because I tell you, Soren, you don't secure your equipment very well. Seems like it'd be dangerous to sit that close to a ship, or stand that close to a ship taking off, even in the G-Wiz Super Future. Okay, that episode went a ways to redeeming Kwan's character a bit. At least gave her a purpose in the story. Showed that she can make some intelligent decisions instead of just being like a walking cavalcade of idiocy motivated by anger. So that episode, I'm pretty sure, was all about Gios's. I don't want to spoil the full details on what a Gios is, how they function, why they exist. Those of you who've seen Code Geass actually probably already know a little bit about the concept. Suffice to say, it does look like Kwan Ha's family was subject to a Geass. And it's an interesting way to bring that element of the lore into it. We're already doing it, like I said, with certain characters that we have already. Like main characters like Chief, I'm pretty sure, are operating under at least some level of Geass. Dr. Halsey, I'm pretty sure, had a Geass in the lore. Stuff like that. But they're different types and have different purposes. And you see the Kwan Ha's family has a protector Geass. set upon them. So it's interesting to see how that's developed. Like I said, Kwan has been the weakest character in the story so far, mainly because for much of the story, she didn't really have any sort of purpose. Like the first episode, she had a strong narrative purpose. And I think, it's clear from this episode, they do have an idea in mind for her purpose to the overall story. It's just that they kept trying to thread her through, sort of, I guess, just to keep the audience aware of her. And it didn't work very well because of the fact that those moments didn't really get to her purpose. This episode, we finally really got to that, and that's what made it more interesting. And we got to see more out of the character than just, petulance, even though there was a fair share of that. And, whining about wanting to take revenge for her dad and wanting to free Madrigal, and without ever really stopping to think about how she was going to do any of those things, whether the situation on the ground favored any of those things. Just a complete failure to think. And I think this episode was definitely focused on addressing a lot of that. I like the dream sequence with her confronting Chief and what he represented both before and after the attack on Madrigal, like how her interaction with him may go a long way to soften her views, just like his, her interaction with him helped him, start to become a little more human, even though most of that was down to his interaction with the artifact and the way it jumbled up or brought back to the surface the memories from his childhood. But yeah, not a bad episode.
I feel a butt coming on.
Obviously took focus off of the main storyline, but I think we needed this. We really needed an episode that addressed Kwan and explained why she was important to our story, or at least started giving us real hints as to why. So on balance, yeah, I think it was a good episode, or a decent episode, I should say. It would. It's kind of hard to rate these things. So it definitely wasn't bad. That's the main thing that I want to get across here. It's not a bad episode, but it wasn't like like the last episode. The last episode was really, really good. You know what I mean? So this is sort of like a middle of the road kind of episode. But yeah, so I think that next week we're going to switch mostly back to Chief and the Blessed One and what's going on Reach. But we are obviously going to keep Kwan in the story from this point, because now there's a clear reason to have her here. And that's fun, because like I said, the way they really should have handled her was to have her, that whole storyline in the first episode, have Chief take her to Soren, like we saw him do, but once he leaves her there, we don't see anything from Kwan again until this episode. That's how they should have handled it. And just bring her back in, have this be the first time that Soren comes with her to the planet, and just have everything play out the way it played out in this episode. We did not need that earlier bit of them coming to Madrigal and, having the random assassin who ends up being off in that one episode and all that other stuff that happened there. It's like, essentially it was like it was redundant. This episode handled all of that. We didn't need that other stuff. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and whether you think I'm off base on any of this or what. And where do you think we're going next? What do you think? Do you think that Kwan and her family are a remix of the Gios concept from the lore? And if you talk about the lore, remember guys, use spoiler tags so that we don't, give too much away to folks who have no idea about any of this stuff. I'm trying to keep it as vague as I can while still at least talking a little bit about the concept, just because I don't want them to just have it all handed to them right away. The joy of discovery is a big part of these kinds of stories, So let's try to preserve that for them. And of course, those of you who really want to know, I bring up words like Eos and everything also because you can look it up if you want to. Again, if you choose to spoil yourself, that's on you. But we're not going to spoil people deliberately on this channel. That's just something that I believe very strongly in.
This is the way. This is the way.
But anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me for this reaction. As always, do me a favor and do your best to stay safe and be well. and I will see you for the next one. Bye-bye.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!